All right, that takes us to public comment. Mr. Zuber, you have that policy right there?
We'll share. Public participation at board meetings. The Board of Education recognizes the value of public comment on educational issues and the importance of allowing members of the public to express themselves on district matters. To permit fair and orderly public expression, the board shall provide a period for public participation at public meetings of the board and publish rules to govern such participation in board meetings and in board committee meetings. The rules shall be administered and enforced by the presiding officer of the meeting. The presiding officer shall be guided by the following rules. A, public participation shall be permitted at a time as determined by the presiding officer. B, anyone with concerns related to the operation of the schools or matters within the authority of the board may participate during the public portion of a meeting. C, participants must be recognized by the presiding officer and will be requested to preface their comments by an announcement of their name, address, and/or group affiliation, if and when appropriate. D, each statement made by a participant shall be limited to 3 minutes duration. E, no participant may speak more than once. F, participants shall direct all comments to the board and not to staff or other participants. G, the presiding officer may prohibit public comments which are frivolous, repetitive, or harassing, interrupt, warn, or terminate a participant's statement when the statement is too lengthy, personally directed, abusive, obscene, or irrelevant. Request any individual to leave the meeting when that person behaves in a manner that is disruptive of the orderly conduct of the meeting. Request the assistance of law enforcement officers in the removal of a disorderly person when that person's conduct interferes with the orderly progress of the meeting. Call for a recess or an adjournment to another time when the lack of public decorum so interferes with the orderly conduct of the meeting as to warrant such action. Waive these rules with the approval of the board when necessary for the protection of privacy or the administration of the board's business. H, the portion of the meeting during which the participation of the public is invited shall be limited to 30 minutes, but the time frame will be extended if necessary so that nobody's right to address the board will be denied. Tape or video recordings are permitted subject to the following conditions. No obstructions are created between the board and the audience, and no interviews are conducted in the meeting room while the board is in session. No commentary, adjustment of equipment, or positioning of operators is made that will distract either the board or members of the audience while the board is in session. The person operating the recorder should contact the superintendent prior to the board meeting to review the possible placement of equipment.
All right, thank you, Mr. Zuber.
Are you ready?
Ready when you are.
I don't know if you're ready. All right. My name is what was that?
Just speaking to the microphone. Sometimes it's hard to hear up here.
Can you hear me?
Sometimes. You're good right now.
Okay.
That's better, yes.
Thank you.
So my name is Nicole Spangler. I'm up here to address a few issues that I have with my work. I'm a bus driver for Grant, and there are a few issues that I want addressed. I'm not sure who to contact or where to even go. One of those being, I understand that we have what's called FERPA, which is like the healthcare of HIPAA through the school. But I think it's important that us as bus drivers, know that a child is either suspended or expelled or is in trouble or what it may be, because we pick these children up not knowing anything. I can pick a child up not knowing that he was just expelled, and he could bring a gun on my bus, and how would I know? I wouldn't know. So I think that it's very important that we figure out a way to let the correct people know about those things. So I'm not sure who to even go to or who to even contact or how we would even do that.
You talk to me.
Okay. And then the middle school. I hate the middle school. I hate the middle school. So we get there to drop off children between 7:30, 7:40. There are so many parents that use that drive that we're in. I'd like to block them in, but I was told I could not, that I would get fired, so I don't. Another issue that we have, I know that it's being addressed, but it has not been addressed because I've threatened multiple children that if I see another ball being thrown, that I am going to confiscate it. I know that the AED AD/Dean of Students has been out there, but he stands more towards like the 7th and 8th grade doors. We need them more towards the 5th and 6th grade doors. That is where they're all being thrown. Last week, we had a student throw a football, and it landed underneath the bus. I was behind that bus. There were 4 children running after that football. The football was smashed and made a loud pop. It made all 3 of us drivers jump. Also, children, not only are they running, but they are being pushed towards buses. I'm not sure how we can alleviate people standing on the sidewalks. I know that Newaygo Public Schools has it where bus drivers aren't even allowed to leave if there are students on the sidewalks. I don't know if we can do something along those lines. In the middle school drive, when you first pull in, it says student drop-off. We need to take that sign down and put a sign up that says buses only between 7:30 and 8 o'clock and 2:18 to 3:15. So us buses can move safely without worrying about other parents jogging in, going past us. We stop for a student, they drive through. We'd already stop for that student, they're walking across, this parent doesn't see it, and they go through.
Thank you, Nicole. Mr. Zuber, obviously you're going to follow up, and can you address all those? Thank you very much.
Just a second.
Okay, while you guys were having, can you hear me? While you guys were having your conversation, it sounded like you were kind of keeping secrets from us. It made me a little nervous, so I started looking up, like this flag thing. Is that proposal 8805 that you guys are talking about? Because if it is, and you guys do approve that, almost every single sign in our whole entire school district comes down. And I know that it's because, it's this all tied into, I started looking at resolutions too, because I'm like, okay, so what resolution are we talking about? So the resolutions, there's a whole bunch of them, but there's one that's pretty recent. And I know I feel like I'm talking about it right now too, but I know you guys know what I'm talking about. And just, if this is what this is all part of, and we're willing to take down every single sign that isn't about athletics, post-secondary education, universities, military, or temporary units of study, so like the teachers, all these things that we have in our room that we keep up all year, you're really saying do you really want the mural down that badly that you are saying that you want every single sign basically in the school to be taken down? I don't know. Talk to me. This is still my time, my 3 minutes. Is that what you're telling me? Okay. Thanks.
Thank you, Mrs. Gessler.
I just want to make a comment based off of that. Thank you, Ms. Gessler, for speaking. I find that bylaw very problematic because, and what really stuck out to me, and I'm a big supporter of our athletics, but by saying flags, I know exchange students, academic achievements, all of that, that's great. But then just singling out athletics, we're a district that has more than athletics here that we recognize. So would the part of like the academic success be artist showcases or, advertisements for the play that the students are doing? There's a lot of there are a lot of things that get celebrated during, at all of our school buildings that don't fall under one of those, few criteria. So that is a big concern of mine as well about that specific language and the interpretation of it, which is also why I struggle a little bit with the Neola policies and would like to look at other options in the future. Because I think there is a lot of vague and confusing language with the Neola policies.
could I have you?
Excuse me. Ken, do you want to comment a little bit more on that? Because I know in the language in that policy, it does state permanently fixed. You know,
Yeah, I'll address that when we get to discussion. I don't want to disrupt the
Okay,
public
fair enough,
comment
for the
time.
discussion. Okay.
There's one for you
Just to
as
let
well.
the person that come up, we'll discuss that later. Okay. And really, to reiterate, the reason why we wanted to move public comment before discussion, so public comment is strictly, you're making a comment to us. Then under the discussion item, that allows us as a board then to address those items, okay? Just to let you know, so just let you know that we're not ignoring what you're asking, we're moving it into the, under discussion. That's why we moved it that way, okay?
We good?
You ready? Go ahead, Lindsay.
Lindsay Malish, 6704 East 112th Street, Howard City. First, I want to start off by saying thank you to Ken, Rob, and Stephanie for meeting with me in person to discuss my concerns about bylaws and the adoption of our bylaws and school policies. I also want to acknowledge and thank Rachel and Richard for responding back to my email on that request and concerns. In that email, I did state, and I just want to state it to you again, I believe the board has every right and authority to put a policy in place to govern flags and displays within our school district. Although I don't agree with the way the current policy reads, I appreciate you taking the time to discuss it and look at it in future. When I met with you, I did, and I may have expressed this in email as well, I said that I wanted to do my part to make sure I clearly communicated to you my requests of what I'm looking for. And that's what I just want to quickly do this evening. Brett handed you out a packet, and on that front sheet, it expresses two of my requests that I would like you to look into further. After the September school board meeting, I was surprised to see that Rachel Gort, on behalf of the school board, had released comments and feedback on the school board's feedback and positions on certain items, specifically in regards to the Neola policy and the flag policy. So, Ken, I don't know maybe if she did that because you have expressed that you don't have social media, and I know in our bylaws it does state that usually you are, as the president, the spokesperson for the board, so maybe that's why Rachel did that, so I'm not quite sure, but I'm glad to see that there were additional comments and context given around that September meeting and then the Neola policies and bylaws in general. And great news that has been shared throughout the community. So it seems like that communication is getting around about the board's stance on the Neola policies and the flag policy. So my request for you, number one, is to update the GPS board statements Rachel Gort posted via social media on behalf of the board to clearly state that Neola is a company that provides bylaws, policies, procedures, and templates for the board to use when adopting new policies and bylaws. So I don't think that the board's communication that Rachel posted on behalf of you clearly stated that Neola just gives us templates and then you still have the authority to vote and approve on't those bylaws. And then my other request is that the board updates the statement Rachel Gort posted via social media on behalf of the board to provide an update on the date when bylaw 8805 was either approved or resolved.
Thank you, Lindsay.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Laura Shaddick, lead custodian. You all know me. I just wanted to give you a little food for thought. I'm getting ready to retire this year, and I was wondering if you were willing to look at going back to regular custodians. If you would, I'd try and like to stay on, maybe train them or help you get a good crew. If not, maybe we're going to miss Sean, but now that he's not going to be here, maybe you'd like to check into other bids or going back to regular custodians. Because I'll tell you right now, I don't know about the regular schools, all the other ones, but the middle school, the staff there is unacceptable. The custodians, they are unacceptable. Thank you.
Thank you, Laura.
Brad, can I ask a quick question on that? I don't remember, so refresh my memory, I guess, if we have, is our custodial service something that we do, like a review and then a recommendation and approval on an annual basis, or is it like an extended contract?
Long before I got here, it was decided, and I think it was in an era of cuts that had to be made, unfortunately, that we would work with a company called EnviroClean. And instead of, and Laura, correct me if I'm wrong, you were here, I don't know, that instead of switching, letting everybody go and switching over to EnviroClean as people retired, they would be replaced with an EnviroClean employee, which is a little, without the retirement, FICA, all that thing, all those things that we would pay otherwise. So it's a cost savings to the district. But I don't know when that started. It was quite a while ago, from what I understand. About 12 years ago. Gotcha.
And the retirement is completely different even for the school.
Gotcha.
Now, started to.
True.
Okay. Maybe that's then something that we look at, looking into.
Can always look,
discussing.
yeah.
Cost analysis, everything.
Go ahead, Tracy.
Okay. Tracy Hargraves. I'm going to hit on a couple points here. I wasn't going to speak tonight, but since only Rob answered my question on my email on the board policy for the flags, and Mrs. Gessler just brought it up too, according to the way that policy reads, and as I spoke to you guys in the email, that means all sponsorship flags have to be taken down, all artwork off the walls, every drawing on the wall, every piece of art. If you guys read that and you just approve that, hope you realize that. You just approve that everything except for those specific items has to come off the building. That includes what the sponsors pay for the football players, the whole 9 yards. All the kids' artwork. And you guys just approved that. Congratulations. Also, we keep Lindsay spoke about the social media post to Mrs. Gort, which is against your guys' bylaws, by the way. Is that your guys' stance on what is going on? Is that the board's comment as to all the questions that have been asked? Because she's placed out there as a board member, which she's not supposed to do. Because if it is, she approved that, or she stated that was approved before today, because that's never been approved. That bylaw was never approved, or that policy was never approved until today, what you just did. So she's sending out false information on her social media. And that reflects badly on you guys as a board. Also, Ms. Gort, when you're going to go through and use my personal information, which is great because I am transparent, use every picture you want, but when you go through and use only my LGBTQIA plus information to try to discredit me and defamate me, it makes you look bad. Your homophobia is showing. I'm going to tell you right now, I am proud to be an ally. And if you want to use that, I'd give you a whole number of pictures of me at Pride and the whole 9 yards. If you want them. Drag shows, whatever you want, I'll send them. My page is open. If you want to run your mouth about me on social media, at least give me the option to comment. Because you can comment on my page all you want, you just don't. If you thought you're going to hurt me in this town because I'm an ally and because I include people and I don't hate people for who they are, you're an elected official. You're supposed to be inclusive to every child in this school, and you're not doing your job. You made yourself look terrible. using just the LGBTQIA plus stuff. I hope you realize that. It may work with your little circle, but it doesn't work for inclusivity when you are an educator or when you are in an educational board like you are. You should be ashamed of yourself. I understand you have your own religious views, but you are here for all of the kids. And you're not doing your job. You really aren't. You started this witch hunt, which we've gotten from some FOIA emails, the witch hunt. You started this with your homophobic stuff in October on your text, and you're still doing it today. And by the way, your bylaw says 5 minutes on the books, so I can go for 5 minutes if you really want me to.
Thank you, Tracy.
I can stand it for another 2.
Tracy, your time has expired.
5 minutes.
Tracy, your time has expired.
It hasn't though. Your bylaw says 5 minutes.
Tracy, your time has expired.
Does it not say 5 minutes in the book?
Tracy, do I need to ask you to leave?
No, but you're going against your bylaws again.
No, we are not.
You are. The book, your bylaws and policy says 5 minutes.
Thank you, Tracy. Your time has expired. Thank you.
You're just proving yourself again that you're not going by your own bylaws and laws. Shady.
Joshua Stein, resident of the city of Grant. First want to say thank you, Rob, for responding to my email. I admit that sometimes I don't always choose the best words when I send an email, but I will never apologize for being an advocate and an ally. And that email was born from comments and questions that I received in talking to community members, past students, people that I know who are students, and want to make sure that the school is in an inclusive environment. It's been a while since I've been in school, so I appreciate Rob enlightening me on that process. I don't know if Rachel was conducting board business on social media. She chose to post my email on social media instead of responding. Maybe you want to tell me what kind of comment you had about my email that you weren't willing to share with me through email, instead using your board position for, it appears, your personal gain. In being out there and talking to the community recently, something's come up quite a bit in my conversations. A lot of people with children, school-age children in this district, and their children don't attend school here. There's multiple reasons. Not everybody tells me the reasons. I always ask why. There's been a common thread that people don't feel like the special education services at the Grant schools are able to meet the needs of their children, and their children are enrolled in other places. That creates burdens on families to transport their children to other locations just to give them the educational opportunity that they need. And so I'm just wondering if there's any, maybe a committee group to talk about what's going on with our special education services that's causing so many people to leave the district, which also costs us money and funding for our students. Brings me to another question I had today. It's my understanding that Count Week was last week. I was just wondering if anybody knows kind of the numbers from Count Week and how that might compare to prior years.
We're down.
I know it's not official yet, so we'll get the official numbers when they come out. I appreciate that. And then my last comment is there's a recall. It's an opportunity to sign a petition to have a new election. It's not to kick anyone off the school board. It's just to get your name on the ballot. So maybe you want to sign the petition to get your name on the ballot and be an elected school board member. So thank you for your time.
Hello, Dr. Bob, Grant Township resident. I was taught when writing or speaking a rebuttal for an argumentative response, you, 1, stick to the point and use any fact that contradicts the argument. 2, point out flaws or errors in the counter-argument. 3, don't be vague, be concise with the rebuttal. 4, don't make it personal, stick to the facts. Although I will be mentioning names, I'm not going to make this personal. On September 14th, Rachel finally made a statement and posted it to her personal Facebook page that is set public, and it was quickly shown to the masses. I have decided to show the inconsistency and the hypocrisy of that statement. The first paragraph, you wrote, they feel they will always know the facts, and no matter what I say, I will always be wrong. The board has changed their reasoning so many different times, it is difficult to keep track of what is the truth. And when you voted to remove the Child and Health Center, initially it was very vague and lacked concrete facts. Lots of I believes and I think statements. No actual evidence was, or legitimate reason was stated, and nothing about the contract was talked about. But if that needed to be corrected, fine, fix it, but don't vote to terminate something and say nothing about it, the contract until much later. In a different statement, you state that school should only be for education, so you have some biases when it comes to the Child and Adolescent Healthcare Center. You didn't produce concrete facts at the June 19th board meeting. This leads me to consider the vote to remove was personal. The second paragraph, you discussed having a week's notice about the Child and Adolescent Health Center committee meeting, and you couldn't attend because it interfered with your full-time job. You also expressed that the Child and Health Care Center should have meetings in the evening, yet during the new board member selection, you were able to take the time during the day and give no consideration for dates and times for those who applied, and also for your own board members. I thought this was an important issue to you. The facts lead me to think that maybe you were there for power or position, and that's your main priority. The fourth paragraph, we need the community in Grant to rise up and fight the battle that is going on in our community. What battle are you talking about? I don't see a battle. I see a group of individuals who are doing what they legally can do to try to remove you from the position you hold, a right that has been granted to us according to Section 8, Article 2 of the Michigan Constitution. Us board members can no longer do it alone. Well, you're not doing it alone, and you never have been. You have 3 other board members that want to work with you to improve Grant School District. You have 3 other board members that were either duly elected or properly assigned to their positions. This statement shows that you are refusing to work jointly with the other board members. Your final paragraph, they have made this solely about the mural. It is not. The mural is just the straw that broke the camel's back and opened the door to a whole list of factors that were greatly concerning to the district.
Thank
No,
you.
you made this about the mural.
Thank you. Any other comments?
My name is Lori Donati, and I'm a community member, and I live in Grant. First, I want to say that when I first came to that board meeting, we actually came to correct the inconsistencies in what was reported was in the mural. Evelyn came. We told Evelyn that the mural was coming down. So Rachel Gort, when you sent that email out, you made it worse. It would have came down if you would not have sent the email out and had the news there. I hope you realize that. The whole thing was because of that email that you sent out inappropriately and had people come to fight a battle that didn't need to be fought. You also stated that you lost friends over this. Well, I'm sorry you lost your friends. You know, I have lost 0 friends, and I've made a lot more friends over all of this. Because kids have a right to be loved and accepted no matter what. And you need to learn that, and as a board, you guys need to learn that. This isn't about the mural. It was about the bullying that came as a result of us coming to that board meeting and trying to talk about things. I'm getting nervous. When you guys come here and you try to make kids think that they aren't valued and they aren't important, that's wrong. I don't care what they think. They need to be accepted and loved, and you guys need to learn that. And I sure hope you don't have kids that ever are LGBTQ+, because I don't know what you guys would do with them. Honestly, you should love all kids, and anybody should come to the school or come to our clinic and be accepted. And shame on you, Rachel. And you know what the other thing is, too? I love the stories that have come up that there's no person, I have yet to hear a parent or a student come up here and say the things that you're claiming that we're doing has happened. Not one. They're stories. You've had people come up here and testify, but you know what? You're a mandated reporter. Why didn't you turn somebody in to a supervisor, to the state at minimum? Why didn't that happen? Where are these kids that we've said these things to? I would think they would have some trauma. Have you reported it to anybody at all? Because they need counseling. Is anybody supporting them? Are you supporting them? Where are they? I'm very ashamed. You should be ashamed of yourself. As a Christian, you should love and accept, and you're not doing that.
Thank you, Lauren.
Leah Turner Grant, finishing for Becca Bob. When the removal of the mural was brought in contract negotiations, we thought that the chaos surrounding the mural was settled when Evelyn Gonzalez removed parts of the mural at the behest of the school board. We moved past the mural. It's clear you haven't. On different post, you included what was included during contract negotiations. If you knew any concerning factors or possible illegal acts were transpiring, and if you were seriously concerned about how the Child and Adolescent Health Center was operating, why didn't you contact the proper authorities? You could have contacted Michigan Health and Human Services, which is the governing agency for school-based healthcare centers, and voiced your concerns. You allowed the Child and Adolescent Healthcare Center to continue to function for an additional 90 days and didn't make a report in that time. If they were doing something illegal or concerning and you knew about it, you opened yourself and the school up to possible litigation. Everything that has transpired since you initially voted to remove the Child and Adolescent Center is because we no longer have trust in your ability to lead the district. We are here and will continue to be here because of your lack of transparency and improper procedures. We are here to hold you accountable.
Thank you.
Thank you, Lynn. How's it going? Ross Golston, Living Grant. Different topic. We're talking about AI. What is this? I don't know our policies or anything on like ChatGPT or the use of such technologies in our classrooms. Is that being discussed as a whole? Is that being discussed with the union? And how do they?
It's so new that we don't have any policies about it yet. Yeah.
I understand that. It should be brought to the forefront.
Sure.
I have a 15-year-old that lives with me, and we talk about it all the time, whether for homework purposes or just gathering information. I believe that is a huge issue that needs to be addressed earlier than later. Just want to bring it up. When you were talking about that, I wanted to bring it to the attention of the board.
Thank you, Roscoe. That's one of the reasons why I asked that question. To Brett when he was talking about that. Are there other trends, for lack of a better term, or initiatives that are being put out there? I will say this. Having the conversation is great. We as a board should be aware of what's out there, or what we may be looking at in the future. And I think what it does do is it does tie nicely into our strategic plan. It may not call out specific language for, AI specifically or this specifically, but it talks about, preparing our students and preparing our staff. So the framework is there. The specifics have not been added in.
On that note, we also have to realize the majority of us in here, pagers were new technology to us. So kind of keep that in mind.
Good point. Thank you.
Try to keep this short because I think I'm last and we all want to get out of here. Mike Maximchuk, I'm the GEA president. I think last time I spoke I was erroneously referred to as the GESPA, so I'm the teachers union president. First off, the audit results from tonight, I think that's awesome that the fund balance has gone up. And I think that stands to show the hard work of the admin team between the principals, shifting some positions around, looking at the ESSER funds and any other grants to help with that bottom line. With that being said, we're down some students this year. And while the fund balance has gone up, has there been a discussion yet? How are we going to fix the budget? Because I don't think we're going to have a balanced budget at the end of the day. And this is now where it starts to play into the GEA's position, because we're going to have to negotiate in a year. And if that fund balance keeps going down, that's going to make it harder for us. So that's one thing. The other thing I want to ask about is and we've heard it several times, the policy 8805, the flag policy. I'll be honest, I had not read it till this evening, sitting in the audience, and what's online. And the way it's worded, it is very vague, and it does not say permanently affixed. I did double check after you said that, Mr. Vance. It just says affixed, per the policy that's online. So I guess my question is what do we do for teachers? Because I trust these administrators to do what's right for our teachers, and I don't think they're going to come after any teacher tomorrow for having a poster on the wall. However, we also got our contracts today, and I signed it, and I think it's number 15 bullet point. It says all teachers will apply and adhere to all board policies. Well, since that was just approved, I'll be the first one to tell you, I'm in violation of policy 8805 because I've got stuff on my walls. So I think the next thing on your agenda is a discussion, and I think there needs to be discussion on how you're going to apply that, especially if I have a teacher who, and I don't think these administrators would do it, but per the policy and per the contracts we just signed, they're now in violation of our contracts. So that's what I've got, and if you have any questions, I'd be glad to have that discussion with you guys, but that's something we need to think about. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any other comments? Okay.